Gonna continue the alchemy exposition. So this is in the essay Cultural Encryption. And trigger warning, there's a lot of coder techie jargon. You can look it up. But I'm trying to speak to the people who like to think that they're very far removed from the concepts of alchemy and show them that they're actually doing the same thing for the same reasons. And pull up my sleeves for this one. So, cultural encryption. Why all alchemy is wrong. Suppose you were sent back to 20,000 BC with minimal equipment, only the thoughts in your brain. Now, speed run civilization. Would you try to use locals' weaponry to attack them until they obeyed? Because your physical strength will surpass the earth and lead to progress by enslaving those same folks who are capable of it? No. Teach them alchemy. But alchemy is wrong. If you were my nephew, I would have already thrown a handful of cookies at your face from across the room. Yes, alchemy is wrong. And it's fantastic. When you watch a video on YouTube, did you notice that each frame of the video is actually a blurry mess? Each frame skips most of what happened in between, too. That is because the original actual event was filmed at a frame rate, discarding all the other moments witnessed. And that film could only hold a few pixels compared to reality. You never witness the reality, only the granular slices of film. Worse still, the YouTube server is not sending you that film at all. They send you a compressed, blurry approximation of that film. Cheaters. Why? Are they just hateful of beauty and truth, hoping to corrupt everything on earth, file types included? Nope. It actually just gets more stuff done. You get to watch more videos with less lag, fewer disruptions, at a lower cost, which means YouTube doesn't have to hammer you with a dozen ads per video. That is better for your viewing experience. So, compression of files, even when they are lossy and blurry and wrong, are more practical. Alchemy is the original compressed file. Chemistry is the physical rules of actual molecules. And it is insanely complex. I had one book on my shelf, March's Advanced Organic Chemistry, Reactions, Mechanisms, and Structure. A compendium of thousands of weird, specific, nuanced chemical reactions for all the odd compounds used in modern plastics and pharma. The book is 2,083 pages long. Would you try to teach all of those insanely specific reactions to some natives? Your knowledge lacks wisdom. Instead, we tell them a series of stories with anthropomorphization characters as the heroes and villains, because that has the greatest mnemonic power and stickiness. You actually remember all the details, like Cicero said, because they fit onto a path along a terrain, a narrative. We need that narrative terrain path to form and retain concepts. because we evolved as hunter-gatherer nomads. Best if it's a catchy, simple song. And it should have deep emotional resonance, too. That file does not get corrupted, even after 20,000 years. Further, we want to compress all the important parts of chemistry into one of those simple stories. Are protons really that important? Pauli exclusion principle? Steric hindrance? Racemate polarization? Maybe that last one, but I'd toss all the others. Most chemistry rules and knowledge are such a cluster that they aren't worth remembering. Honestly. I was tutoring a UC Berkeley student in organic chemistry 20 years ago. I explained electron orbitals as an 8-card trading card set on an elementary school playground. Chlorine already has 7 of those trading cards, so he's highly motivated to grab another one. And puny hydrogen only has 1 card. Chlorine yoinks it. Hydrogen waddles behind chlorine across the whole schoolyard, whimpering, "Hey, hey, give it back. That's not fair." That's ionic bonding. Meanwhile, a pair of carbons said, "We both have a few cards. Let's just huddle so that we can both see all the cards together." Lonely nerds unite. That's covalent. Further, the 5th graders with long arms, muscle like calcium. Calcium atoms can stand in a crowd of younger kids, and he'll reach across to grab somebody's card, forming a bond. Big electron shell. Electronegativity and all that junk. When you try to break a bond to form a new one, your mini molecule is shoving its way into the thick of that clump of elementary schoolers, nudging in vain to distort their accretion of snot sleeves. We can all relate. That's called steric hindrance. The UC Berkeley student had a deeper understanding of the mechanisms and role of chemistry from a falsity, a lie. That sort of story is alchemy. A lie that tells the truth. The compression of a pristine file into blurry garbage that functions. But science is so important to teach the truth. Really? I hadn't noticed folks around me applying any of those explainer videos, science videos, to their practical experience. Science has a trauma bond with truth. See Galileo, Darwin, et al. Scientists had to figure and fight for centuries against institutions and public ignorance, assumptions, superstitions. As a result, they are emphatic that we must only say things which have been verified, spoken with every jargon-inflated nuance and asterisk, such that we say things which are perfectly actually true. Mathematicians have never had that problem. In mathematics, we start with a set of assumptions without needing them to be true. If these were the starting axioms, then what would also be true? We conjure dozens of different axiomatic systems without caring whether they match reality or describe reality or inform reality. We just like cute puzzles. We were curious what would happen if we assumed some starting truths. And within that assumption of start with these as true, all truths derived from those axioms are certainly true, if the axioms are true. We don't care if the axioms are true, because the statement, if X is true, then Y is true, is a true statement, even if X never happened in human history. Mathematics is the only domain of knowledge which has ever grasped perfect, exact, certain truth. Scientists just pretend they do. So with that lurch and cacophony of scientific paradigm shifts, those lab copes must discard all their prior certainties. Then, after that disaster of pride and delusion has been swept from public discourse, the scientists go back to pretending that we've always been exactly correct. Narcissists. Mathematicians only ever add to mathematics. Even when they broke Euclid for intercepting lines at infinity, they were only adding another option. Maths open successive vistas, century after century, without ever discarding their past suppositions. Because we did actually find the actual truth. With that certain truth in our pockets, mathematicians are at ease in the face of lies called metaphor. Scientists have to invent jargon, which means their weird delusions, and then insist everyone use that jargon, though none of them know what it means. Mathematicians, meanwhile, are happy holding heuristics' hand. Dumb lies. A heuristic is a dumb lie. Just smile and everyone will like you. Keep your hands on 10 and 2 to be ready for accidents. I just kind of wait until the wave gets wobbly, then I know I have to tip out. The heuristic rules give you the wrong answer 10% of the time or more. And they are superstitions, veiled by coy and incoherent arguments. They are nonsense. Yet they still work 90% of the time. And they're cheap. We run our lives on heuristics because we can't wait for thinking long in detail, and we don't actually have enough information or background knowledge to make an accurate assessment. Heuristics are kludge. Heuristics are the ugly duct tape of thinking, and I keep a roll of duct tape on my nightstand. Mathematicians are beloved for the numerous kludgy approximations we invented for computer programmers to copy pasta. Did you really think your graphics card was able to compute every path of every beam of light to reconstruct the 3D image of your favorite RPG tavern? You fools. We are swimming in kludge. Heuristic. It's unavoidable, unstoppable. And scientists hate that. No, every word you say is supposed to be an exact description in full detail. They are RimWorld gnomes, whose place names are a complete description of everything found at that place. Yes, the village of Big Hill with a little lump on the side that gets muddy so there are mosquitoes, but only from May until harvest, so remember to bring a raincoat. I did some consulting there. Science. Alchemy. Alchemy is the set of stories, the heuristics, for doing a few chemistry processes which are relevant and practical, useful. It is a file compression of the snippets which are called upon most frequently by the end user. In that sense, alchemy is a stunning achievement and a resounding success. It does serve that purpose well. In particular, alchemy is giving you a set of patterns, and some of those patterns are paradoxical. How can alchemy be true if it contains paradox? It is a search filter, that's all. 3 competing answers in different alchemical frames of mind? Try all 3 separately and look at their results. You have narrowed the search space of chemistry from March's Advanced Organic Mechanisms of 2,083 pages down to a search among just 3 hypotheses. That is efficient. And each region and history concocted their own variants of alchemy to encrypt their mnemonics of chemical hero stories. Together, they are like multiple towers viewing a landscape from each distinct vantage point. They do conflict, and they each approximate the truth, which has practical purpose and real metrics of outcome. You can check reality to see which alchemy applies to each specific case and compound. Together, they are a codex for that compression file. Taoism is the key. Encrypted in metaphors, our cultural encryption protocol. These compression codices for the vast files of chemistry are still obscure. Their reference and key value pairs, pointers, were all scrambled. Their namespace is overloaded with variables. Alchemy is full of hash collisions. The error correction code for all alchemies, all of the astrologies, all the magics, is Tao. If you do not embody Tao, then you will fumble at some point along that marathon pilgrimage. Each chemical success blinds you to the fact that your core principles hold a corruption. Tao yanks that corrupted bit from the bit string for a reliable recovery of the compressed file. That is why you should learn the alchemies, astrologies, magics, knowing that they are all lies, all imperfect, all confusions, all paradox. They are the facets of a gem, reflecting and distorting a shared underlying reality. They are beautiful when seen as a whole together. I traveled back to 20,000 BC, and I lied to you. Taoism is the truth.